Hey YouTube, this is Robinats1 here, and I'm here to do a review for Gotham. So this is going to be very difficult to review in the sense that I'm unsure whether I actually liked the pilot or not. I think what Gotham does is very interesting. And I think, and I like the fact that we're seeing a Gotham sort of pre-Batman. But I also think that this is a world without Batman. And that to me can be very problematic. Because Batman is such a key character in Gotham. So let's start off with the story. Story goes is that Bruce Wayne's parents die, and Jim Gordon, who has just started working for the GCPD, is assigned along with his partner Harvey Bullock onto the case. And this episode basically starts the ground running, and we see how Gotham operates, and also how twisted this city is. And I think the idea is that the Wayne's parents' death sets off a chain of events that will lead to Gotham needing a Batman. And what I like about this is about, the possibility for the show is that it gives us a glimpse at what life was like pre-Batman. We get to see Bruce Wayne actually mourn his parents, which was something I think we've never really got to properly see. We always see some elements of Bruce Wayne's early life, but in this show we actually get to see Bruce Wayne. Mourn for his parents. I think the problem is, and I think the whole problem with the episode overall, is that they're trying to do too much in this episode. I think in the process it's kind of a bit too much. Like we have a lot of characters in just this one pilot episode. Like, for example, we get Ivy, we get Poison Ivy, we get Catwoman, we get Riddler, we get Penguin, the new character Fisher Mooney, Carmine Falcone, just lots of different, like key characters in the Batman universe are kind of thrown into the story. And as a result, the show kind of feels it's a bit too much for one episode, at least in my opinion. As I was saying, the death of the Waynes basically will one day create. I think what I liked about the show was how grey Gotham actually is. Like, I really like the rivalry between the Major Crimes Unit and the GCPD. I think it was very interesting to see how both systems operated, but also how both systems basically have to utilize or belong to organized crime. Like, this city isn't black and white. It's not like in Metropolis from Smallville, where things were black and white. And sometimes, you know, and these cops have to make difficult decisions. Like, they're not able to fully do their jobs. And I also like the fact that this show didn't feel like a traditional cop show. And what I mean by that is, yeah, we are having cases, but it felt like a serialized piece. It felt like a comic book, and not like something out of CSI. Jim Gordon, I think, was okay. The actor playing with Jim Gordon kind of only has one facial expression throughout the entire episode. Like, he isn't given much range. Like, there's no difference between his home life and his home life and his work life. They just seem too similar. And I think, to me, that was a problem. Other than that, the actor played pretty good with Jim Gordon. I mean, Jim Gordon is at this stage a morally good character. He has yet to really feel the effects of Gotham City. And a lot of people who live in Gotham City actually sort of seem to be warning Jim Gordon on what Gotham is like. And I think Jim Gordon just doesn't seem to really... I think Jim Gordon is a very naive character. Harvey Bullock was also pretty good. I actually really liked Harvey Bullock. He was one of the two characters that I sort of latched onto. And it's interesting to see how Harvey Bullock and Jim Gordon sort of parallel one another. For example, Harvey Bullock knows this city. He knows how it operates. And he sort of has become corrupted by it. He is a corrupt cop. And I think that his experience with Jim Gordon will get him to see the errors of his ways. But I think what will happen to Jim Gordon is Jim will lose himself in Gotham. But what I didn't like about Jim Gordon was the fact that everyone seems to be connected to him. Sort of in this episode, we see Poison Ivy, Bruce Wayne, not Selena Kyle actually, Bruce Wayne, the Riddler, Penguin. All these different key characters sort of seem to be connected to Gordon. And I think that's going to become a problem. Because, yes, Gordon is the police detective, but Batman is the one who connects with these characters. Like, Batman is the one who is supposed to be creating these villains. Well, we've already seen an example of how Jim Gordon will be the one who affects these villains. You know, sort of, for example, Jim Gordon's interactions with the Penguin are probably hinting at the fact that maybe Jim Gordon actually creates the Penguin. And I also think that Jim Gordon creating what will eventually become Batman, is a problem because I think Bruce Wayne and Jim Gordon will wind up becoming too interconnected, and that to me is a problem. Not a major problem, but it is a problem just based on the fact that we don't yet know what's gonna happen, with this show. I don't want them to set too many things up, just in case the show doesn't last that long. Another problem that I had was Selena Kyle. Selena Kyle was, appeared in this episode, but wasn't developed nearly enough. I know we're gonna see her a lot next episode, but I think her being connected to Bruce Wayne, like she is the one who witnesses Bruce Wayne's parents' death. To me, it seemed very weird that she happened to be there. Now you might be able to get some parallels between Selena and Bruce in the process of that, but her being there just felt really, really weird to me. And I think it's one aspect of the show that didn't fit in with that stuff. Guys, all in all, I know it seems like I'm bashing the show, but I'm really not. I'm just a bit concerned. I think there is definitely potential in this show. But I do express concern about how the show is going to operate a story like this. So, I'm Robin, that's one here, and do stay tuned as my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be up momentarily. And then, Doctor Who will be out on Sunday as well. So, I'm Robin, that's one here, and I shall see you all later for another TV review. Bye.